with Keertika. I'm Keertika. Today we are tackling one of the most essential yet intimidating tools in the clinic, the Phoropter. Whether you are a first year student or preparing for your clinical exams, mastering these styles is non-negotiable. I'm going to show you how to navigate this piece systematically so you can perform refractions with confidence. The difference between these trial frames and this Phoropter is that all the lenses here are mounted on this wheel, so it is more convenient. For the next few minutes, we are going to look at what it takes to use a Phoropter to do the refraction. First, we'll go with the parts of this Phoropter. At the top of the Phoropter, we have tilt clamp knob. This clamp is used to adjust the pantoscopic tilt according to the face of the patient. So when you have set this, just lock the stop. Next we have rotation adjustment knob to adjust the vertical alignment. This should also be locked when not in use. This one is for near rod holder. Before we even look at the lenses, we have to talk about the alignment. If your setup is wrong, your final prescription will also be wrong. So starting from the leveling, so always check the bubble here at the top. This bubble should be in the center, and for keeping this bubble at center, we are using this knob. So this knob is used to keep this bubble in the center like this. So see, if you are moving it, it will get tilted. So it should not be tilted. This bubble should always be in the center like this. So I'm using this knob to level it. So if this is not in center like this, the Phoropter will be tilted, and a tilted Phoropter induces unwanted cylindrical axis. This IPD adjusting knob is found on both sides of the Phoropter to adjust the IPD. This IPD scale will help you to adjust it according to the patient's IPD. Use these knobs to align the optical centers. If the patient is looking through the edge of the lens, you are introducing prism. That shouldn't be there. Next, this convergence lever converges the Phoropter aperture. This decreases pupillary distance for near testing. But don't forget to return this for your distance testing. Now, the vertex distance can be adjusted by using the forehead raised adjusting knob. Look through the side of the window. We want the patient cornea roughly 13.5 mm from the back of the lens. So, use the forehead raised adjustment to get it right. So, this adjustment is here. So, you'll adjust this forehead raised from here. Adjust it according to the patient. This is your auxiliary lens knob. On this auxiliary dial, we have some standard auxiliary dial markings. First is this O. O means open. So whenever we are using this on dial, O means open aperture, means no filter or no lens, then the patient sees through the Phoropter naturally. Then next we have OC, occluder. So a black disc that blocks the eye completely. It is used for monocular testing. Then we have 0.50 diopter of cylindrical. This is used for Jackson-Ross cylinder test to refine cylindrical power and axis. Then we have 10 prism diopter, the basin used in binocular vision testing like the Von Prief technique to measure foreas. Then pH denotes pinhole. So you can see in center there's a small opening used to check if a decrease in visual acuity is refractive or pathological. Then we have 0.12 diopter of sphere, a very small plus lens used for fine tuning of the spherical refraction. Now this GL means green lens used for Woodford dot testing. Then we have white Maddox rod horizontal and white Maddox rod vertical. to check horizontal and vertical foreas. Then P means polarizing filter. It is used for binocular balance and stereopsis testing. Then we have R. R means retinoscopy lens. It is usually plus 1.50 diopter or plus 2 diopter lens that compensates for the working distance during retinoscopy. So these are all lenses on the auxiliary lens dial. This is your strong sphere control. And this is your sphere power scale. At the side of the phoropter, we have weak sphere dial, which changes the sphere in 0.25 steps. Minus or plus. This describes the amount of hyperopia or myopia. In order to increase it in large steps, we can use dial from here, like 3.25, then 6.25, then 9.25. See, so we are going in larger steps, plus or minus 3 diopter. Same for the hyperopia as well. This is your cylinder power knob. This is cylindrical axis knob. This one is your cylindrical axis reference scale. This is your Risley prism unit, and this is your JCC unit. Now the rotatory prisms can also be introduced to generate horizontal or vertical prisms. Now here is the Jackson cross cylinder. We can use it to refine cylindrical axis and power. The cylinder axis knob will change the axis of the cylinder in the aperture. So these were the parts and working of the Phoropter. If you like the video, do subscribe my channel and stay tuned for more videos.